Okay, welcome back to OK Tech. This is Introduction 4 to Microsoft's Excel spreadsheet package, which is used for all of Microsoft's quantitative calculations such as finance, accountancy, statistics, business data, scientific analysis, and so on. So if you've watched the previous video, it was an introduction to Excel formulas, which are used as shorthands to carry out calculations on many cells and also to use specific mathematical functions such as sum, product and average and so on. I showed an example of sum function which was like that, and that was the sum of the cells in the range that you selected. So the range was C2 to C7, and it's written as the function name, open bracket, and then that cell range. Now you can actually build it up in more complicated ways. So for example, if you didn't want all 6 of these numbers, if you only wanted the first 3 and the last 2, then the way you could do that is the first 3, so that's your first cell range, C2 to C4, and then a comma, and then you start your second range. And if you recall from the previous video where it colours them in separately like it did when I was adding up numbers across here, it does the same, but now it's for ranges. So the first bit of the range is C2 to C4, 2 plus 4 plus 6, which is 12, comma, and then it will just keep on summing. So that's the second part of the sum. So now it's 10 plus 12, which is 22. So overall it's going to be 12 plus 22, which is 34. So if you press enter now, it will give you that sum. And if you wanted to edit it, what you would do is click on the cell, double click over here, put another comma in, and we could add some more numbers, add a 5 and a 9, E2, F2, and now it's going to be 12 plus 22 plus 14, which is 48. There are other ways that you can construct these references. So if we just get rid of all of that, suppose you wanted to reference, instead of C2 to C4, suppose you wanted to reference all of these 12 numbers. Then you you click on cell B2, hold the left mouse button down, drag it across and down to select the whole rectangle, so you can select as much as you like. So, and you can see Excel actually shows you how much you selected. So there's that little grey indicator at the bottom right, 6R times 2C. What that means is 6 rows are selected and 2 columns are selected. So you've got columns B and C, and you've got rows 2 to 7. Same as normal, if you release it, you can see it has this little dashed line flashing around. That means it's the active selection. And when you press the enter key, it will do this sum of all of these 12 numbers. So 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 4 plus 3 plus 6 plus 4 plus 8 plus 5 plus 10 plus 6 plus 12. And the answer to that is 63. So there's lots of different ways to do the details inside of some formula. And the advantage is, once you've done it, if any of this data was to change at a later date, if that was to become a 5, you don't need to type anything again. If that was to become a 9, you don't need to type anything again. It will just, the formula's there, and it will just update. Okay, I showed you how to navigate to formula names using just typing letters in. So like C, and it will give you all these options, and you probably don't know what they mean. Some of them are quite hard to imagine what they could even mean. You'd have to look at the guides on the internet. So correl is correlation, cos, if you know that, that's from trigonometry, cosine. Chi-sq is chi-squared tests, which is statistical. So you might be wondering, well, how am I actually going to find out what functions might be useful? Well, there are some menus actually, and if you looked at the top, you'll see the tabs Insert, Page Layout and Formulas, and it's the Formula tab that you want. The Formula tab includes all these various different types of formulas. So we've got recently used, and that's got sum, average, if, hyperlink, count, maxin, sum if, period, and so on. We've got financial, and these are all various different financial functions drawn from economics. We've got logical, which is things like a bit like what you might have used in Venn diagrams or other computer programming work, or logic courses. So, and if two conditions are true at the same time, then A and B, then that's true if A is true and B is true, or not if, and so on, or in electronics as well. Text, these are all different ways of editing text. So for example, trim, we'll trim off the spaces from a piece of text. So for example, if you had something like dog, space, 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 then the actual value of that, you can see the cursor's got those three spaces. And if we use the function trim cell E9, press enter, so it's going to trim dog space, space, space. And if you click on this cell, there's no space. On this one there are those three spaces. On this one there is no space. And that's very helpful sometimes, because some functions later on you'll find would get confused if there were spaces. So it's a very good way to strip out all the spaced data. And if you import text into Excel, you'll often find that it has spaces or other characters that you don't want, and this trim function can be used to get rid of the spaces. Okay, so on to the next little bit. I'm just going to show you a quick example of how to actually make use of this. Let's suppose that you had some sales data and it was for your eBay music business, and it looked something like this. So you sold CDs, the sale price £5, the number sold is 5. Speakers, sale price £120, the number sold is 1. Headphones 25, 4, and so on. You want to come up with a rapid way of calculating your total sales, the amount of income that you've made off of selling all of these items. So what you're going to notice is that there's 5 lots of the CD, so that's 5 times 5, that's going to be 25. There's 1 lot of the speakers, so that's 120. There's 4 lots of the headphones, 25 times 4 is 100. Didn't sell any keyboards, and you sold 2 drum machines. So that's your total, and we know how to do a total. It's sum of this cell range. So sum H9 to H13. And if you press enter, it will give you the total. Be nice though if we didn't have to actually do these calculations ourselves. And actually we know how to do that because we've also got the product function. So do product, and it's the product of 5 times 5. It's the product of F9 times G9. Okay, well, it'd be nice, we could carry on down like that, product F10, G10, and so on. But that's not the quickest way to do it. We've already used a quick way to do it, which is you click on the little square at the bottom, you drag it down using the left hand mouse button. When you release it, now it will look in that product formula and it will see that you've got 2 references to row 9, you've got F9 and G9. It will change that for every row. So the next formula down will be F10, G10, the formula below that will be F11, G11, and so on. And now it's calculated it all automatically. So you only had to type product in here, and then you selected the cells F9, G9, pressed enter, and you clicked on this button, dragged it down, and then you had your sum function at the bottom, which all you had to do was select those, and you've automatically got the total for that entire table. And you could obviously do that for any number, and then if you change the number of sales, it will change the total. If you sold another keyboard, your sales go up correspondingly. Okay, I'll be back in the next lesson. Cheers.